What were you doing this time last year? I can tell you what Jules was doing, celebrating France lifting the World Cup. Jules, can you believe it's been a year, mate?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you say that again?
No, I'm not saying it again. I've said it enough over the last 365 days. You don't need any more.
Yeah, champion! Champion!
What happened? Wait, how small is that T-shirt?
Whose is it?
It's one of my sons. My two sons have this one.
Wow.
Mine is in Paris. I think I left it there at my parents.
Did you?
So when our producer said, bring some props, I was like, okay, and I just got that. It doesn't matter what size. It could be a giant one. It doesn't matter. It's just,
I think it would still fit me though. To be fair.
Shit.
Jules, I think given a year's past, it just remind you of the starting 11 of the team that went on to win the World Cup. Who would you say maybe hasn't lived up to the expectations that you maybe thought that the final would prove to be a platform for them?
I mean, it's the only one really has to be Matuidi, but he was playing such a special role in that team throughout the competition. To be fair, that he was never going to play there again, either probably for France or also for Juventus, and also at his age and with the career that he's had and everything, it was always going to be hard to do better and to get higher than what he did in that World Cup. But if you look at all the others, I mean, Pogba is always a difficult topic anyway, but the others have pretty much had a great season apart from injury, the ones that have been injured, like Lucas Hernandez, for example, or even Benjamin Pavard. But for the rest, it's been pretty good. Umtiti has had an injury and came back, and Langley has taken
a bit of a stinker though, didn't he, Jules?
Yeah, he had, I think, at the beginning, but I think for a lot of players post-World Cup, fitness-wise, it was always going to be difficult because they had short holidays. I think emotionally and physically, you end up being completely drained after the World Cup, especially when you win it. But in terms of the ones who kept their progression, I think it's pretty easy to say. For Conte, for example, you could argue that he played in a different position under Sarri at Chelsea, but I still feel that he learned a lot from there. And then obviously you had Mbappe, and you had Griezmann and Giroud maybe is the one well up front that it was a bit unfortunate, the situation with him at Chelsea.
It's incredible. I forgot about Giroud in all of this. Jules, looking at it now, it's a young team, isn't it? Most of it. Is there a sense now that they could kick on and really dominate as Spain did, or is the concern maybe that we had so many high hopes of the German side that won in 2014 and we know what happened there?
Yes, you're right, although they lost very narrowly against France in the semi-final of the Euro 2016, so they didn't do too bad post-World Cup. But I see what you mean. I think Deschamps has been very good already to give a good turnaround to the squad that won that World Cup. If you think of players like Ndombele or Ferland Mendy at left back, players like that who've come into the squad, and some have played a lot, some have just made their debut and things like that. But you knew there would be some rotation in, and there's some players that we will never see again who won that World Cup, who will never be called back ever again by Deschamps. And I think he's been very good on that. And then Deschamps knows himself after winning the World Cup in '98 and then the Euros in 2000 as a player, as a captain, how difficult it is to get to the top and then to stay at the top. And I think he would have all the tools to try to get that team there next summer in the Euros 2020. I think they have the potential to do it. I think they've got the experience, they've got the mentality and the team spirit and all that inspiration that they can draw from what they did at the World Cup in Russia to get there. But we know that it's not that easy, obviously.
For more, sign up now for ESPN Plus.